How did you vote for me?
Yes, then I've got Alex.
What?
Oh, Alex.
Oh, from Alex?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, because I think we sent an email saying, don't send it through the post, confidential.
Yeah, and I had to say that
Yeah.
I'm a senior, so.
I was just looking whilst I was waiting at social services conferences, how they're televised openly, and wondering how come you don't do that. And I'm just wondering because I mean they, invite people to this actual official child protection conference to concerns. So everyone.
Well, you can speak to
So-
Alex about that.
No, it's not about Alex. It's about you guys. It's about social workers
Yeah.
and child
So,
protection. It's not Alex. It's
Today is about
no, I know. But
how
I'm
we
just
can
saying.
progress
I'm
family
just.
time.
They don't
Jen,
have
do
a
you wanna
problem
sit?
with that.
Do you want to?
Good, come next to me. Okay.
Let's sit here.
Too many phones on the table. Right, okay. It's not recording anything, so I'm just watching the outside.
Yeah.
Is this mine?
We're all aware that Sharon's likely to be visual on his phone in his top pocket, but I'm okay with that.
It's not, well, it's not going to harm you, even if it was. I don't know if it could. Okay, so tell me, what would you guys want to do now?
Do you understand what was said in court around the section 34.4?
I have understood everybody's point of view in every word, every angle, what was said in the court and outside. Whether or not I agree, that's a separate issue. But I have, I'm not, void of understanding what you guys are talking about, or the judge or anybody else.
So
I just see it differently.
What do you understand around the order?
Well, exactly what it says, section 34.4. You apply to the courts. You do not want me to have contact with the children unless I do what you want me to do, which is why we're here, and you're going to tell me what it is you want me to do. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I don't know what you're going to say.
Mm-hmm. But why do you think we feel like there needs to be changes?
Why do I think that?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I think that? I mean, I think you've expressed one of the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about my personal opinion, it's about my personal view of what you're saying,
Yeah.
which is your question. One of the points you made in point 3, there was a great deal of talk about adult matters in front of and involving the children. Shani, that's yours, isn't it? Yeah? Because you've signed a statement for the court the other day. That's what you said, haven't you? Right. So I'm just reading from that. There was a lot of talk about the children having their own solicitors. All of those conversations were wholly inappropriate to have with and in front of the children. Now, if you're over 13 and under 17, there's a law in this country which you guys should also know, I don't know. Your barristers definitely know. You're under a duty to do particular things if they're over 13 with what I'm talking about. The children have told me you haven't done it. So as someone who shares PR with you, I have taken the measures to inform my children where local authority have failed to inform the children of their rights. You failed in that. That can't change now. What will happen next year in times to come in courts and high courts, regardless what Judge Hudson is saying, I see what she's saying, that's fair enough. I can't, she can talk for herself. I can't force her to stop, but I will force her legally next year to stop. And we have what we need to do because what she's doing is wrong, clearly. But that's not about that now. So you fail to give children their rights and you're objecting and you're obstructing the children from having their own solicitors and getting rid of the Kafka's representation of their thoughts. And that puts a lot of fear in the local authority. And I know that. And I'm trying to help the children know their rights in this country between 13 to 17-year-olds. Actually, it applies up to 18 if they're in local authority accommodation, care, borstal, prison. Between 13 and 18, doesn't matter if it's social services or the police or whoever, especially if the child does not understand why this has to happen. That does not mean I'm too thick to know what's happened. It means I don't agree with you and you shouldn't be doing this because I don't understand why you're taking unlawful steps. Now, Handan and Altai can't term it like that for you.
What can I
They
do?
can't be
What-
boiler gas engineers as well. You expect
Mr.
them to
Shami,
know
what
about what they
conversations-
don't know how to express it that way.
Mr. Shami, what conversations can I have with the children?
Who?
What conversations can I have with the children that would reassure you that they know the rights, so that it isn't discussed in family time, and family time is about you getting together and having fun, playing, and being out from outside the court arena?
Well, I mean, I don't know, it's been quite a while that you've been involved in the case. I don't know, since September, since October. So there's been ample opportunities between all of us for you guys at local authority to place your position like social services do, like what I've just mentioned to you officially, how it should be by law, by social services framework, child protection network, safety mechanism is there, so you cannot make a mistake. That doesn't exist in your departments here, based on my experience.
What conversations
Therefore, my
would you
trust
like
in
us
you
to have
guys
with
is
the children?
zero, because you failed, which is how I'm presenting this, to the human rights courts and to the High Court, to
Give it back if you're ready.
no, just hold on a second. You know, I would love to trust you, like I like to trust everybody on the planet. Why should I think otherwise? But when you have given me cause time after time after time, what kind of an individual must I be, especially a father of children, to not realize what you're doing? Don't forget, for years I was a health advocate. I dealt with these problems for other people.
Mr. Shami, I think we're going
So,
back off
you know,
track.
we-
What conversations would you like me to
You've
have with
asked
the
me.
children?
I would like you not to talk to my children ever in your whole life, based on the trust that I no longer have in you, based on your demonstrations of not in their interest. You've
Okay.
demonstrated that on page 376 of the court bundle, point 3, that you find it concerning that it's an adult matter and highly inappropriate. Let me just finish the sentence. That you think that me making sure the children know their rights to express their views, because I know for a fact you haven't done it. You haven't done it, nor has the Kafkas or what's her name? Anna. No, Mrs. Bagley has not been done, and there's an obstruction in the way for that not to be done. Local authorities too interested in protecting their reputation in this. That's already gone. It's just a matter of court decision next year. So until then, you doing that, I mean, I can show you loads of points that you don't realize by law you failed on under the child protection.
In terms of point 3,
So how can I trust you when you've shown me that in
Would you
court?
like- what
that's when
conversations
children
go-
have these recording,
Mhm.
so that's what's happened in family time. That's not what Charlene's.
Well, that's what she's asked me. She's asked me about how, well, you know, you've asked me what you've asked me, and I've answered you why.
I've
With
asked
regards
you
to
what
family time,
conversations can children's social care have with your children,
I've just
so that
answered
the
you.
conversations
I don't want you to talk to a member based on
So
what
the
you've
point
done.
of today is for
Well,
us
let
to
me
be
answer
able
that
to
one as well.
offer you-
Let me answer that one as well. You've asked me something. Don't go on to the next one and leave me without an answer and then write something that never took place. I don't mean you will do it. I'm just giving you a chance to do that. So, in regards to family time, the only time I see the children in their false imprisonment, as I see it, all right, not how you see it, but how I see it that way. That's the only time. That's the only time I can communicate with them. I know where they live. I can make my arrangements and go to the doorstep and have a word, but I'm not going to do that
You know where
because,
he lives?
just hold on a second, the children, both placements. But I'm not going to go to the doorstep and create problems, illegal problems. There's court orders in place, police, force. I'm not going to create that kind of situation. And I can have a word with them if I want to, but I'm not going to do that. You've done what you've done, and we're going to deal with this in the courts and resolve this, all right? Now, it's the only time I can, by court orders, rightly or wrongly, as we have them, it's the only time I can speak to them. And I speak to them, I get on my knees, I put my hands on their, emotionally and say to them, look, don't worry, and I explain to them their rights, I explain to them how much we love them, I explain to them I know how terrible it must be, and I feel that pain 24 hours for my children. And you're not going to come along and tell me, go blind, don't worry about what we've done is wrong, but we're going to blame you for it. This is the 4th time we're doing this in 20 years. It's all scratch record. What you're sitting there saying, I've heard it from different boroughs, and they've been wrong, and they've faced defeat every time. Maybe you read different.
So, Mr. Sherman, do you
Right,
not
so
see any,
how can
any
I-
issue with your behaviour? Because we're going to be in a stuck position.
Are you expecting me to say what you want?
No, I want to know
I will
your
speak
insight.
by the law, and I will
into-
speak by the social services
offering you
framework,
I'm offering
and
you
by
an
human
opportunity
rights.
so that the one time you do see your children is quality time and it is not consumed by court.
You see, it's not the court that consumes this.
Family time
It's-
is consumed by
No, but you see,
conversations around court
the
and your
prob-
negative views when
no, but I don't have negative views. I'm telling the children what their rights are that you fail to provide them with. Are you saying that you've let them know that after the age of 13 they have a right to have an independent solicitor from when you first met them? Because that was your first job. Check. If you've got the social, you said you've passed your degrees in university, you've studied obviously social sciences, social works, frameworks. You must have done. Have a
So
look
Shemi,
in
we're
there.
talking about your behaviour here. The
My
order.
behaviour is totally legal.
So the order
Hmm?
is a power to stop you coming to family time until the
I-
31st of January. The local authority
At
are
the moment, yeah.
concerned
Mm.
and can reapply for that. The local authority are worried about the conversations in family time and are offering support to family support workers to make that a quality time for the
Why are you
children and
worried?
yourself.
Why are you worried?
So the contact notes are on front of you. You've been given a copy. It's in my statement of the worries around
Right.
the
So I'm
conversations
talking to them about their rights.
around court.
And you don't want me to talk to them about their rights.
We can have a conversation with
Oh,
the
you've
children.
already promised that.
We
You
can-
have
You
whatever-
have already
me
promised actually.
that you
yeah.
give them
He says you
telephone
haven't.
numbers,
They've got
how to
nothing.
complain about you, how to complain about local social services.
Joanna, that is not true. I have not told the children that I've given them any phone numbers. I don't know if you get
Yes,
this
you have.
mixed up
You've
with-
actually
in their
said that to
social
me. You
worker.
said that you have given them
No,
information.
I haven't.
Was it
Because I haven't-
Sabrina
Okay,
then?
all right, okay. So has it been given?
I've not given the
Has it
children
been
phone
told
numbers.
verbally?
But the children have got their own social worker, which is the guardian. So she's a social worker of the
I
court.
thought you're the children's
I
social
am.
worker, what you said.
I am the children's social
That's the
worker.
guardian.
And the guardian is independent.
It's not independent, it works for
So-
the court.
So independent of the
Independent of the
local
local
authority.
It's meant to be on paper, but it's not. Okay, what you're saying is that the children have the guardian from CAFCAS on behalf of the court, and it's independent of yourselves,
Mhm.
which is why they always agree with you, and never with us. Apart from Mrs. Chowdhury, that didn't agree with you, and she agreed with us. There must be a reason for that. Mrs. Chowdhury, there were 3 representations hearings ago when she said, immediately, you must do certain things.
Mr.
And
Shirley, we're talking about here and now and family time, and what I really worry about is if you're not showing any acknowledgement of your behaviour and how that impacts the children and family time, we will not offer you family time.
but that's up to the High Court, not you,
Mhm.
isn't it?
So are you willing to just
Well, if you talk to
weigh
me
this
what
out?
is within the law and what's within Article 8, read it in full, if you do that, and if you follow the social services framework in detail, in cases like this, what you have to do, and don't put your personal opinions, we're going to understand each other
I think the difficulty is now,
perfectly well.
if you're unable to recognise any issues with your time and family time,
I see what you don't like,
Mhm.
I recognise what I've read it, it's in front of me, I've
Yeah.
even highlighted the most concerning one, that you're removing, obstructing their legal rights. How do you want me to feel comfortable and not tell them?
So
Didn't take me long to tell them.
So you've already
Most
told them
of
that.
Well, I've said that to them. You know that day it should have been recorded anyway. You guys should have, the contact supervisors should have well put certain words, especially word for word, if they can. And after that's settled, the contact supervisor, what's the
Bernadette is the one that was sitting next to the
no,
door.
the other lady,
Caroline.
Caroline did say to me, okay. She said, okay, that's enough. I think we have to stop.
Mhm.
My wife said, shh, enough. Okay. So I said, all right. So I went and sat down, and then we dealt with what,
Yeah, there
and
was
most of it
positive.
was that.
We did read
What
that.
I mean.
So
I
we'd
mean,
like to
yes,
see
I
more
mean,
of that.
It's not that I'm not capable of that. It's you do not realize. Sorry, I've said that wrong. let me rephrase. You knowingly what you've done is wrong. You don't want to accept that this whole case is a criminal activity by local authority to do this, regards to your threshold, the way you are treating me, the way you are making reports, or your colleagues or other people, especially Lindsay, what she's done to incite security to wherever I go, as though I'm going to bite somebody.
So
Just
that
I'm an
is about
extremely
you,
peaceful guy. You won't
and
get me easily to get all,
So
you know,
that's
I don't do
a
things like that.
conversation about you, and we want to focus on the children and family
No, it's
time.
not about me. It's
And
your
I do
concerns.
worry.
It's your concerns about me that is maliciously discriminative that you're using to stop me seeing my children, because you do not want me to make
Mr.
sure
Shemi, it's an
that this is
independent
processed.
service that is recording
Which one?
family time.
The supervisor of family time.
So
Yeah,
we have
I
got
hear
no
you, yeah,
control
okay.
over what happens in that family time, only
Well,
yourselves.
that's to be examined in the future by somebody else who has got a lot of experience to examine those kind of things. That's not my professionality to deal contact supervision assessments and forensic looking at details.
So contact can't move forward if
But
you're
no,
not,
okay, I hear what you're
if
saying
you're
to
not
me.
accepting that your behaviour could potentially be emotionally harming. Telling the
My
children,
behaviour
hey,
will never
can
be
I finish,
harming
please?
to my children.
Can I finish?
Don't forget, my
Telling-
culture is different to yours.
Can I finish, please?
Sure.
Telling the children that they are going home today,
That's not what I actually said. That
That-
term was involved in a paragraph.
or at the latest Thursday,
No,
and it's
or-
now Friday.
No,
the
no,
children
no, hold
have
on a minute.
gone.
That's
no,
not
can
what
I
I said.
finish? The children have gone back, and likely they've been really confused about,
Right.
they trust you, they love you, they're going to believe
I
you.
know how much my children love me.
So it's now Friday, and they haven't returned you okay
That's what
that
you
you've
don't
promised
understand, you
them.
see. This is what you don't understand.
from the latest on Thursday, which is
Right.
emotionally harming. They
Well, I
don't
mean, are
know
you,
they're more
are you
confused
dictating
now.
that now, or are you asking me? If you're dictating, I will listen. If you're asking, I will answer the question when you finish.
I would like you
To respond?
no, I would like
Oh.
you to let me finish speaking.
Sorry, apologies.
So that is emotionally harming. The children are confused.
Is that what you believe?
So you don't think promising them
I'm
to
asking
go
you if you
home-
believe that.
I'm asking you if you think that promising them to go home at the latest by Thursday, and it's now Friday,
Mm-hmm.
isn't confusing and emotionally harming for the children.
That's not what I said to them, no. I can prove what I said word for word.
Mr. Shemi,
But you're not saying what I said, you're saying half of the paragraph.
Mr. Shemi, you came in with an order that was false.
It wasn't false. It was my legitimate legal perception of this hearing, this case, this whole proceedings.
So do you not think the children would have thought that was a genuine order?
Do you
from
think you
the
know my
court?
children better than me? Do you think you know their thinking process better than I do?
If
I
their
created
father
my
has come
children's
in
thinking
with
process.
a piece of paper saying
Not
there's
you.
an order,
You don't
and
know
then
them.
they're taking them home, why would they not believe you, Mr. Shemi? You're their father.
Okay. But you don't know what I said. You're misquoting by doing a half a representation of what I said. I can help you if you like.
So what was in your
When I said
intentions taking them
today
in?
or next Thursday or this will happen, trust me, don't worry, this will happen. Okay? Now to you that may seem strange, but one little part that's one of the biggest parts that's missing that local authority and yourself, I can see that clearly, does not understand is I'm from a different time, a different place, and a different background to you. I'm talking to you in English now, but then if you can turn it and speak to me in my language, based on my culture, my tradition, how we perceive the world, the family, and a single event, we're going to agree. But you can't do that because you don't know what that's about. When I was a teeny little boy, as these children, smaller, okay, all right, this might be very significant for you. You'll probably go back and maybe use that negatively. But when my father was murdered by terrorists called EOKA terrorist group based on Enosis, which was a racist, genocidal group in Cyprus. Check carefully. When my grandmother and my mother told me to not to worry, to wait, maybe there's a reason, because my father actually has not been found yet. Right? My father, Shahab Shemi, the director of local authority in Larnaca, in Cyprus, a junior judge, and also a commentator on television on Friday nights on football, a multimillionaire family in Cyprus. His grandson from the other family is now the head of all the courts in Cyprus. Right? His name is Shahab Tokat. Shahab Tokat is now the head of all the courts, judiciary in Cyprus, his grandson. Okay? My father still has not been found. Now, I know the chances of him being found today, obviously, is zero, because where would you be for all these, over half a century? Because I'm nearly 60. I'm not 30 or 40 or 45. I'm nearly 60. All right? So when I was taught about what has happened, we've seen people shot against walls where they were dragged, and all their blood on the floors, and bullet holes in white walls of Lefkosia in Cyprus, Nicosia. And they put us against those walls to shoot us. And when Turkish people that gathered together to fight against them, they came to save us. Then afterwards the United Nations appeared, a bit late, but they did appear, and captured all those people. A film about that particular day, that particular story, has already been made only last year. I can send you a link to it and you can watch it. And one of those children in that story was me, where our lives were that much away from being distinguished under genocide. And the fact that we waited, maybe he will appear, maybe he will come, maybe, and the hope of people telling you, look, the worst can happen in life, but look at this carefully, patiently. And even if it is true, or it's not true, you have to remain strong the best you can, be patient, be strong, and the family will be united. Now, I waited for that for years, for me to see my father, for me to see my father, for me to see my father. I was living in London, I was probably about 16 at the time, 17, when every day I thought about this since I was little, not a day passed. It didn't damage me, it made me more intellectual, it made me more emotional and compassionate towards other people who may suffer. For example, they may fall down in the road. An old lady in London may fall down in the road. And I'll be the only one, usually, to run to pick up the lady that fell and tripped. And it would hurt me watching that to happen to someone. Anyway, so our ways of doing things as Turkish people, and we are very different. There are 7 races on this earth. The Northern European Scandinavian race is different. The Turkic origin race is different. The African race is different. The Aboriginal race is different. And we don't need to fight the fact that it is different, just like there are different flowers. You don't need to like one flower and not like another. But if you do, that's fine, as long as you don't ruin the other one. Don't tamper with it, just you don't like it, that's fine. So if you like that, you like that, that's fine. Live and let live. It's very simple. And when you don't recognize my culture and tradition, and I will be taking very, very serious action on the gated local authority, and it will, I promise you, it will go down as a landmarking in law for the racism and discrimination that you guys have all participated in. Most of the time you don't know you're doing it, because part of racism is when you don't recognize your racism. That's what makes it racist, that you cannot recognize the difference opposite you. Be it discrimination or racism, they're two separate ones. Now, I've tried my very best to discuss this, guys, with you guys, with the police from the beginning. Look, you're making a mistake, there's a misunderstanding. You don't want to know. The fact that you don't want to know, and the fact that you've lied about all this, and you've discriminated, that you really believe something is true when it's not, that's the racism and discrimination part. And the fact that you know about many things, because I have put a lot of red herrings in front of you guys for you to pick it up and say to me, look, why is that like that? And I can say, okay, I'll show you and provide you proof that shows that you were wrong, so you can let go of my children. But you've run away from me. You don't want to engage with me. You want to carry on and carry on doing these things the way you want, which is in the wrong way. I'm not saying social services is wrong. I'm not saying that the courts are wrong in general. I'm saying you have manipulated with falsified evidence, discriminatory evidence, racist evidence, even what you're saying here, the way I'm treating my children, and used it against me to try to break me down and make me do what you want. I'll tell you something, I will die first, but it won't happen. You will not break me down. Where the truth is, I will stand. Where there is a lie or wrongdoing by me, I will put my hands up and I will say
So
to you,
Shami,
listen, fair point,
We
you're
spoke
right.
a lot about yourself.
It's
and
not
your
about
child
myself.
and your
You're
feelings.
attacking me, but you're using my
Let's
children.
focus back on the children
Listen,
and family time.
if you'd never abducted my children with the brutal removal that you've done, I wouldn't have even talked to you.
We are well
I
aware of
wouldn't,
your
you know, even
views
if you passed
about-
me and you had a difference with me in the
Mr.
street,
Shami, we're well
I wouldn't
aware
respond to you.
about, you know, your
I don't have
views
to
on
conflict.
children's social care in the courts.
It's not
And
the
that-
so,
and
it's
that
not the
is-
it's
that
not the
is to
social
be
services
discussed
children care.
in the-
It's the
in the
manner
court.
in which you're exercising it wrongly without
And
the
that is
safety
to be
net.
discussed in the court to come to
Yeah,
some
but
kind
it's
of
affecting
judgment.
this, isn't it?
But it's family time, and we
Shani,
want family time.
you
But
have-
babe, hold on a minute, just a second.
Yeah.
So, what do you actually want me to do? Do you want me to just, when I
I'd
go
like
to
hear what
contact...
Joanna's got to say.
Sorry?
Just one
no,
second.
No, go on.
I don't really want to comment because this is his appointment,
Mhm.
but I've noticed very important thing here that hasn't been addressed. You have promised me over a month ago that you're going to make an appointment once a week to meet us to discuss our concerns in regards to the children. If you had done that, and he came here and said to you, listen, this is my concern, could you please discuss it with the children? And then we see the children and said, yes, Charlene did say that to us. Yes, she has given us the information about solicitors. Yes, she has told us. Then he
Well,
wouldn't
she has
have a
explained
need
how he
to
got the
explain
black
that
eye
to
or the
you.
bruised nose, instead of father is imagining injuries. Now, when I heard you did that, I wiped you off forever from trust.
Right, so are you saying
What
that
did
if
you
I
say?
offer you further appointments
For
to
what?
discuss your views
Of
and your
what?
concerns around the children, that it won't be discussed in family
Well,
time?
hold on a second.
I'm saying that if you had done that, then maybe
Perhaps-
this wouldn't
So
have
moving
happened.
No, we're not
Moving
saying, no, hold
forward
on,
now,
we're
because
not saying that is the one and only reason, but certainly she is right in part, that certainly goes a significant way of the social worker can see a black eye.
So
I'm
we
just
can't change,
example.
we can't
And
change
we
the
all
past,
see it.
and we're now,
No, but-
we're in
yeah,
the
but
here and now.
If we don't talk
And there's
about the
an
past, you
order.
won't learn for the future, will you?
There's an order to stop family time. So
right,
we
okay.
would like you to invite you back into family time, but we can't do that.
I don't actually
until
believe
we
you do.
come to some kind of
Even if you do, I don't
agreement
think
around-
it's in the interest of what you're trying to do at court. It just, if you can prove your
So-
point, the
so
father
we
is a
want-
monster,
We want to move
all
forward.
these things will
Mr.
help
Shani,
your case.
I'm talking. We
Well,
want
yeah,
to
I
move
can hear you.
forward. So
I can hear
if I do offer you weekly appointments to discuss your concerns, and I do give the children advice around their rights as children, are you willing to not discuss the court process and your views around children's social care in family time, and take on the family support workers' advice around playing with the children?
Okay. This is a question, right? Right. Number of points for your question. A, I'll maybe go backwards from what you said, the last thing you've said. Playing with the children. You really have to define to me what you expect me to do as play, because my culture, I promise you, is so diverse and different from your culture that when we believe our family has been wrongly done and children removed wrongly, and we are emotionally in pain every day for them and for us, it's a traumatic situation. It's unbelievable. And we see those children for a little bit of time. You know, which bit are you feeling first? How much you love them? Or how have you been? How do you feel? Did you sleep well last night? How are you feeling? You're saying, don't ask them that. That means cut my heart out and let me die, because there's no more point to life. If I'm torn from not being able to show my children who they are, that they've been from birth, from conception. I've talked to my children from when my wife knew she was pregnant. All my children, I have significant, at least a couple of hours in the evening, 10 minutes in the morning, half an hour in the middle of the day, if I'm at the house, in the day, in the night time certainly, to talk, and my wife and me speak to the baby as the baby is growing every day, before the baby is even born. And when the baby is born, our happiness and our care for the baby. And for you to tell me in that 1 hour, with how many children, one by one, I can't go through them like clockwork, like it's a factory, sardines in a can processing. This is about love and emotion and psychology and delicateness, how you approach the child. They're in shock, they're in trauma. Which one of you actually understand the level of trauma? I can stand there now in the passage and laugh and smile with someone. Oh, how you doing? Good morning, you all right? And they won't know what I'm suffering because it's on the surface. But what about inside the children? Do you know how much they're suffering? Do you know, Handan, the damage he's suffered now? I doubt that's going to be repairable within 5 years. In fact, it's going to alter his whole perception of all his life. Handan. Altai can adjust because, I mean, he's ready to take on the world if necessary. He won't necessarily tell you that because he does not trust you, because he thinks he does not understand what you're telling him. You were starving and we fed you. Boiler was going to blow up and we saved you. Your father was a big boogeyman with an arrest warrant and we saved you. Your electrics from your house. None of that is true. We've seen all the proof, haven't we? None of it is true. Police have pulled out. They said, detection of no crime. We don't want nothing to do with it. We're not investigating anymore. Close case finished. Crown prosecution sends letters apologizing for the warrant on the 1st. It should not have been there. It was a mistake in Sevenoaks 11 years ago. Yeah, but look what it did. The boiler, we've got a certificate and reports, which you're welcome to. But all this is a lie. Altai is telling you we weren't starving, but you're saying you were. Why are you telling him he's starving if he's not?
How can we
How
progress?
can you do that?
How can we help you
To stop lying.
Family time.
Stop lying.
So that you can be invited
Stop
in
lying.
and have good quality time.
Be honest. Be compassionate based on social work's descriptions. I know the whole social works in detail, and I don't disagree with it. It's good. Do it as it says. But do not use false evidence to use the policy of social services and the Children Act because you have another reason why you're doing that.
So this is what
I mean,
I'm willing to
I
offer
will
you.
legally
I'm
defend
willing
you
to
guys
offer
in the
you
law in the end. There will be
weekly
no escape.
sessions
But in the
to
meantime,
discuss
we
your
don't need to
views.
hurt those children.
Yeah.
And if you keep hurting my children, I will pursue this to the points I've never done in my life before. Because this is the 4th time. And I forgave last time when I said to Donna McKinnon, the head social works team deputy, when she said to me, I'm sorry, Shahab, I'm really sorry. We should never have removed Shahan Jr. from your care. I'm sorry, Joanna, I'm really sorry. Contact her, find her. I'll send you a link eventually when we think it's ready, when all of you can see that 1 hour of Donna McKinnon in our house in Berkshire, in tears when she's apologizing to Joanna.
Mr.
Now-
Sherry, can we talk about family
No,
time?
we're talking about
with
it's the same
children
thing.
Now?
We are talking about it.
What
We are talking
I'm
about it.
willing to offer you is weekly sessions to come in and discuss any worries you have. So
Wait a
that
minute, you've asked
it
me something that I
reduces
haven't
your
answered all your other
opportunity- Let me
questions.
finish, please.
No, but
You'll
I haven't
reduce
answered
your
the other ones.
opportunity or to talk about it in family time. I'm willing to reassure you that the children will be given advice around their rights as a child. You will get a copy of the family time from mum and some feedback on, highlight the positive that you're seeing. How do we expect you to play? Mum's is very positive. If you could mirror that and get some advice of Joanna
But
around
I do treat my children
appropriate.
with emotion and love the same as my wife. In fact, my wife knows that I'm even more loving and emotional even than my wife in the
when
right
if
way.
you
But you
conscious-
never once say the things about me, how I engage in love and emotion with the children, and you
Mr.
do with
Shelley,
my wife.
I'll
You
disagree
say,
with
he
you
hugged
there
and
because
kissed.
I have
No,
put
you've
he's
written
kissed
it.
and I have put that you played with Handan, which
Played.
is very positive.
Played.
And
But
I
you
would
don't
like to
say
see
that about my wife, do
I would
you?
like to see more of that. We have got a programme called the Behaviour Change Programme that we're willing to offer you.
I haven't answered the questions yet to your first question. I've answered the last one.
So I'm,
You've asked me what do you want me to do, and so on, so on, so on. I was about to tell you. If you don't want to know what I'm going to say, it defies the objective of this.
I'm offering you this, so like 4 different points of the Behaviour Change Programme, which will hopefully discuss
The first thing you need to
your
do
views.
after you took responsibility and you yourself apologise for the behaviour of social services around the events of the, was it 13th of September or 14th, when
talk
I
about-
was wrongly accused by your colleagues for doing things that I've never done in my life, and I would never do, and I didn't do that day. And we had at the time, I think, 2 or 3 hours, I think roughly,
What-
2
what are you
hours
referring
twice
to?
a week.
when I was accused of running around with a knife and assaulting or threatening staff and police and all that, when I didn't do it. Okay? I hadn't done that at all. And you have apologized for that 3 times.
I apologise for you not for it not being pointed out the law.
Yeah, but that's it. No, it's not the law, it's the policy that you have here.
Is
You
walking
can have knives
public
and
place with a
forks
knife.
in a restaurant, but not here. So it's your policy here, it can't be law. So, well, okay, you've
can't carry knives in the
apologized.
street.
No, but you,
That is law.
well, it depends what you're doing. Obviously, you're not going to be carrying a knife for no good
So I
reason, just walking
apologise-
about. What would you be doing with a
apologise
knife?
for you not knowing that and it wasn't
Okay,
explained to you.
okay. You did apologize on behalf of the local authority that you contradicted yourselves and caused a confusion which led to the events of the 13th of September.
No, I disagree with that. I
Well, that's what you
apologise.
apologize for.
I apologise. Well, you've got it on recording, so I know
No, what
I
did you
said.
apologize for?
For you not, for it not being made clear
Right,
to
okay.
you
It's the same
that
thing,
it
it's a
was
contradiction,
that
it's a
it,
mix-up.
that it was
Okay.
unlawful to carry a knife in a public place.
And I must tell you,
And
Charlene,
for not to bring a knife to family time.
right, and I actually admire that point of yours. As much as I see what you do is actually wrong what you're doing, and it's not how it should be done, because you know some of the things you're doing, and I don't know if you forget or if you just carry on. But that particular point of yours, I went home and I sat down and I did say to my wife, you know, in all her behaviour that she does, that I believe is wrong under these proceedings and this stuff, sorry, that's just my opinion, I give it to her. I honour her for that truth. Great. And I said to my wife, look, she's there, you can ask her. If she did everything like that, do you know what? We get on like a house on fire. I don't mean actual fire, you know the term, right? But you're not doing that. And what you could have done to prove that you meant that was to go back and check what was the contact arrangements from this, well, from the start of point to that day when that event happened outside with the police, the 13th. And since you've apologized that it wasn't made clear, and that played the part to all this, say, okay, fair enough, right? Rightly or wrongly, accidentally or not, let's not look at the past, it's not going to help. Let's go back, we've apologized, let's put contact back how it was, because he didn't actually do that. And we've apologized. Let's put it back to how it was, no more and no less. That was the start of point, the first week or two. Let's put it back to that, because it was what we just described, and we go from there. Now, if you'd done that, even if I didn't agree with some of your points, I'd be patient to wait to see in a week or two what you would do or what social services want to do. And if you told me, look, Shahab, can you do this or that? I'd say, yeah, okay, fine. And we'd be almost like friends, even if we like each other or not, we would have that, nice communication. But you haven't stopped. And it's not just you, it's obviously the people who are controlling this whole situation, from outside this building to your solicitors to the team leaders. It's the whole
Mr.
process.
Shemi, are
You don't stop.
Are
You
you
don't
not
stop.
willing
You're
to
carrying
put
on.
your views and your,
What I'm saying to you,
your opinions?
Go
and-
back to the beginning.
Mr. Shemi, are you not willing to put that aside for 1 hour or 90 minutes with your
I
children?
have.
You're not. The
But what do you want me to
the
do?
recordings are worrying.
Which recordings?
Children's North East recordings that are supervised in family time.
Right, so,
The reason
okay.
why we've got the section there.
I'll tell you what you can do, right? If you want me to stop discussing legalities, right? Clearly, you've said it here. You want me to stop discussing the children's rights to them, because you will do it, is what you're saying. That's what I understood. For me not to do it. And for me to play with them. If I go in there, oh, hello children, come let's sit down now, let's have a look. We'll play knots and crosses and snakes and ladders. You may very well do that in your home, and I don't see anything wrong with it if you want to do that. It's up to you what you do. It's nothing to do with me. It's not even for me to think about. It's not my right to even think about what you do in your home. That's your privacy. But for you not to know what I do in my home with my children and want me to do what you do, that is racism and a breach of culture.
So are you telling me that you behave and inform the children of their rights and your opinions at home? Are you telling me this
Nothing
is
has arisen between me and my children for me to tell them about their rights at home. They're at home and everything is wonderful
So I'm
and we're
asking you to
together.
mirror what you do at home in that
But you've
90
changed the
minutes.
situation. You've attacked my family, and this is like a legal wartime situation.
So
Can
can
you
you
understand
not
that?
put that to one side?
I can
for
put it to
90
one side for the
minutes
children as long as
to
you do not mislead
prioritise
them.
your children?
Yes, but as long as you do not mislead them, as long as you do not miss them every day, every week, every month of their legal rights, because you're causing them further damage by doing that, especially Handan, I've told you. His mother's noticed, Junior's noticed, and I've noticed Handan's damage to his emotional, psychological content of his identity and the meaning of this case for the last 4 months and what is life about has been destroyed. Of course, he's still got a segment of himself that he will respond a certain way. All right? Now, the damage to Australia, you're playing with fire because that boy's got a mask on almost 24 hours a day. Now, if you look at what the government and Boris Johnson at the time when he was Prime Minister and the professors and specialists about warning about the mask, how many hours to wear it at maximum, how it could eventually lead to your death by slow carbon monoxiding of your own lungs, that boy is at maximum with that mask on 24 hours. Where is your concern as a social worker to help him?
Mr. Shemi, we're talking about the here and now and family time.
But I met
how
him
we
here.
can progress
This
it.
is family time. That was
Mr.
family
Shemi,
time.
I'm extremely
I met him
worried
here.
that
He was
we have
crying
an
on my
order
shoulder.
to stop your contact until the 31st of January.
Are you threatening me to
No,
think how you want me to think?
No,
Otherwise,
I'm telling you,
Right, come
I'm
to my culture
extremely
for me.
worried that we have an order to stop contact.
you're actually worried, are you?
In that
Do you really believe you're worried?
and you're not showing any willingness to put your views to one side, to
It's not my
prioritise your
views.
children
It's not my
for
views.
90 minutes.
My son has a mask on his face for 24 hours. Are you not concerned about my son?
We are not willing to invite you into further family time until you recognise or
Recognise what?
agree that your behaviour and contact is unacceptable.
Right. I feel that what you've just said is a very serious aspect of what's going on.
It is very
And
serious.
my last position on that, the final, not today's, but the ending of this next year, will be where your remarks that you have just made will establish legal points to prove that what you're doing is wrong, and all your seniors and the court at the moment. But that's not for today. In the meantime, regards to contact, getting down to the nitty-gritty about the physical contact. If you stop doing things that are harming my children even more than you already have per day that we notice, you do a different thing, for example. You put them in a room with dust that is that thick, right? And you expect them to breathe that in a confined little room with how many of us? 6,
Yeah,
7
you're
of
giving
us.
the G11
Right?
to literally one woman with a baby that looks like 3 months old. She doesn't need G11 room to see one baby and one woman and one contact supervisor. Yet you're giving family of 1, 3, and 4 children,
6,
all of us, that teeny little
7.
room there with no even a window to open to get some fresh air. And you're saying that you've offered me another room. Now the room next door you've offered me is even smaller. It has 1 settee and 2 chairs.
But if it was
For family
clean,
of
if it was clean and it didn't have, I mean, if you go there, you'll see it today. It's like that. I have a clear record of it, believe me, and I've sent it to people. And you'll probably, maybe your department will hear and you'll try to even it out. But the proof is there, right? And we've asked you to at least
So
have
are
it
you
clean.
willing?
But
Are you willing
we
to
don't
not
need a
have
big
family
room,
time
but
with your
there's no
children
window.
because of thick dust?
No, okay, put us in dust, okay? Put us in thick dust, put us in dirt, put us with dried old food, put no windows, no lighting.
It's about the
Australia-
inappropriate conversations, not the room environment.
Australia,
That's the concern.
well, you've asked me, what would you like me to do, you said earlier on about 16 minutes ago, for me to do the contact, my behavior as you call it, the way that suits you. And I'm answering you. Don't breach health and safety issues. Do not be abusive indirectly to my children. Do not risk my children's health. Do not lie in your statements. Do not mistreat everybody. Don't try to control my wife by saying, I'll make difficulties for you and your children indirectly because you are aggressive to me in front of Aisha. Also, it's okay for you to lie to my children, but their mother, it's not okay for her to express her opinion about her children because you share PR at the moment. That's what you believe, is it? Do you really believe that?
Decision, we were talking about family time and
We are.
Well,
And
so
you were on your
what I
way to
wanna
family
offer you
time.
is-
You were on your
is
way
weekly
to family
sessions on-
time
on
when
behaviour
you
time.
said, when you were on your way to family time then, and then when she read that report of yours, the effect it had on my wife, reading that about herself, and every time she comes to contact before she's going to come, you've preconditioned her and you've abused her in such a way that she's, what did she call you that you said?
Aggressive.
Aggressive. Do you know what she says to all the family since then? And she says, no one in my whole life of nearly 40 years, these are her words, right, has called me aggressive. But then I can say to you, you can call me aggressive because I know what you really mean is forthright, very direct, very truthful, and if you're not 100% honest and you're not 100% official and you know you're doing something wrong, you are going to find me as a threat because you
Mr.
know.
Shemi, the judge
That's
referred
just-
you as intimidating.
She didn't say I'm intimidating to her. Otherwise, she should get up and
So-
replace herself.
What we're going to offer you is sessions, weekly sessions.
And
on
we
the
can
behaviour
appeal that,
change.
I
don't
think
forget,
what
we can
he's
appeal that.
saying to you, if you could please stop
Abuse.
abusing our family, because you're doing this personally, you yourself. For example, we know for a fact that you went to the children and you have been telling things in a
If your
very
father
negative
carries on
way.
the way he is, you will not be going back home.
They also, we also know that you have been saying very bad things about him and describing him in a very negative way to the children.
Altai has whispered it to me, and I think he said it openly as well because some of it is in the contact notes, even though it's only like 2 sentences, even though there were about 11, 12 sentences. Handan is terrified. He whispers in my ear, Daddy, they're saying terrible things about you. They're saying very bad things about you, Daddy. Why? I said, who's saying that about you? Your name is one of those names. Now, are you going to tell me that I should tell Handan, stop lying? Charlene would never say that. Is that what you want me to say?
Are
I
you
think
saying
what
that?
I think what he's saying is,
Be careful.
if we were
be careful
not
if I prove that.
approached
You know that.
every time we see the children with an issue where they say
Every
that
time.
you have lied to them, that you have been saying negative things about their father, that you have told them they'll never come back home, they've called you a liar, and lots of other things. I don't know if it was you
How
or
do you
it was
expect contact to
Sabrina.
go well like that?
I was assured that information about how to complain about social services and how to make sure they know the rights have been provided to them. Could have been Sabrina.
Mhm.
I
Could have been
remember
anyone
it
from
was
social services.
during one of
you
the
know,
appointments
whoever's-
where we were discussing the contact agreement. The children told me they have not received any information. If we are not approached with these issues, by what you have caused, you personally, in these matters that I'm discussing now, then
Well, she might be
we
under order,
won't
she might
have
be
to
doing it
be in a
herself. That's for later.
position to say to the children, this is not true. For example, another issue, Altai has said to me that about the previous proceedings where Shine Jr. was removed.
We've
Altai
never told
approached
them
me
about
with
that.
questions about the
It's
previous
Lindsay.
case, and I didn't actually know what to say because we have never told the children about what happened
You
with
guys
Shine
did.
Jr. And that you have also told them that Shine Jr. and Goigo were removed from our care, which is not
And you've
true.
led Australia to Goigo, meaning Australia.
has never
and
been
now
removed
he's
from
hearing
the
that he was removed at birth, right? And the impact that's going to have on him whilst he's
So
in
you
that when
are
he was
putting
never
me-
removed.
Can I ask
You-
you where...
Why'd you do that for?
So are you saying the children are having these conversations in family time with you?
I am saying that we have been
What?
approached with these questions that you have caused
During
by
family
lying to
time.
them, and we feel we have to respond.
So you're going to go
So
and tell
you
them not
stop
to say, are
lying
you?
to them. I don't want you to go and tell my son.
No, babe, can I just 1 minute? It's going to be a mix-up if we just
Yeah.
hold on. It was yourselves that went and told them these things, and then they asked him when I wasn't even there. Just 1 second. Why did you go and tell them that they were removed?
I'm sorry, I'm extremely confused about
I'm
this. Are
very
you talking about
confused.
the young boys are telling you this in family time?
No, hold on a second. No, 1 minute.
Are you talking about...
Listen, when you tell children that they were removed at birth and they didn't know, do you not think the shock of it the first thing they're going to do is go to the parents and say,
Mr. Shelley,
Mommy
I've
and
just
Daddy.
said I'm a bit confused, so I'm trying to get a gist of what you're actually saying. Are you saying that the boys have told you
Viv, one
this
minute.
at
Well,
family
if
Viv,
you
time?
read the
Viv,
contact
Viv,
notes,
I know
then
what
you
she's
would
asking.
say,
Viv,
you
I
would
know what she's asking. I know what. Okay, look. During the time that we're going to come here to see the children, at the moment you're stopping me by legal force, even though I don't want you to, we're trying to arrange where we can happily have those small moments together, right? That's what we're going to do. All right, fair enough. Why don't you put the contact back to what it was before you caused me that situation? Why don't you stop taking their rights away from them? Show proof to the court, and for the court papers, I can look.
To
That's
the
good
way it
enough for me.
was, I don't understand.
Well, we can write to you again today and send it to you instead of going through it now, because we're going to go through the same thing again. So to avoid that, whatever their rights are, whatever the law says, it's not what I say.
But what do you mean back to the way it was?
Family time, you just
Family
said.
time. The family time, before you made the malicious allegations that's recorded by police and the solicitor, and the same times you refer to that you're sorry that there was a contradicting information. You're saying we didn't intentionally do it. We think otherwise, but you're saying it wasn't intentional. There was just a mix-up. We're sorry about the knife thing. Is that what you're saying or no?
I don't
Well, put it
understand
back,
what you mean back to family time.
What was it? 2 hours? 3 hours? What was it? Whatever it was. 4 days?
4 hours a week, 2
Whatever-
hours
whatever-
with
what
the
was it,
baby,
Juliana?
for
4
me and
days?
my husband, and twice a week for 2 hours with the children.
So, I'm not choosing those I'm not saying those hours are suitable. I'm saying that's what we started off with on that foot, and it changed because of wrong allegations against me. You were victimizing me, rightly or wrongly or by accident. The children suffered, the whole family suffered because of it. See your fault that you did. You're saying it wasn't intentional, it was just a mix-up of, okay, let's just say it was that way for the sake of argument for now. Go back to that point, and you've apologized for that. Prove that you mean the apology by fixing the mistake that you made, by unintentionally contradicting information
Mr. Shelley,
with a knife.
contact won't be
No, I haven't finished the sentence. It'll be clear in a minute.
put any longer because it's stopped.
No.
So I'm not willing to increase it
Right.
if I'm not actually comfortable that you can commit
Let
to
me just
90
finish my
minutes.
sentence. Okay, so there's that point. You asked me what I want for it to be, for us to continue contact.
What can we help you with?
Right, okay. Well, it's not what you can help me with. Put it back to how it was at that stage before the incident on the 13th.
That is not going to happen. So
Right.
we'll have to just,
You can take a note that I said that, rightly or
Yeah.
wrongly, and you can
Mhm,
use
I
it
have.
against me if you like. I mean, you probably okay. And if there are injuries to the children, however they may have happened, be honest, record it. I know that's hard for social services, and social services keep secret all those things, and I've known that for years they do that, but don't do it in this case because it's going to cause problems. You have to be honest and transparent in what happened to the child. This injury is this injury is that, right. A black eye, you may not need a doctor. I mean, you get a black eye, you can bump into something, fair enough. But when you've got, a serious injury, it doesn't matter if somebody says it's just an nappy rash or it was because of the cold, especially a baby of 18, and especially where you're sharing PR and you're not respecting our PR whatsoever. You think you can do whatever you like. That is wrong. When they'd wrongly removed Junior, whenever he was going to doctors or checks or, all the standard stuff even, some we didn't agree to and we didn't go. But whenever he did go, Linda Hill and Donna McKinnon made sure that we were both at those medical examinations. Even the hearing test, remember the hearing test? Junior had a hearing test at Whittington Hospital on Holy Road in North London. We were both there with Linda Hill, the social worker at the time. Whenever, for anything that he went, they would
We
invite
even
us
took
to
him
be
to
there. And right,
to
that
the
is
Morsel Eye
social.
Hospital.
Right, HRA, Human Rights, the Children Act, and total social services framework, how to behave yourself to execute the orders of the law and policy, is that you failed in all of it. You've never once let this woman, their mother that created them, to go with them to a medical examination. His first needle that went into his body that he's never had before, his mother couldn't be with him at that moment. None of his parents were there. And you think that's not child abuse? Anyway, so you're failing on all of those. The law hasn't changed since, when was it? When was the last time? 2006, till now, regards to those matters. Neither has the
Mr.
policy.
Shemi, you spoke a lot about what we can support you with. What do you think you need?
You think that the
you
law
can
in the North
change
East
in
is
yourself?
different, don't you, than London and all of England, don't you?
Mr. Shemi,
I tell you, it's
if
not.
I can offer you
And
these
the
what we've
Crown
discussed, but
still
what do you
sits
think
above
you
you.
can change about your
Well, I've told you,
behaviour?
if you stop abusing us, if it's okay with you, if you stop lying, if you stop using me as a tool to your mistakes and maliciously creating me to be this over-aggressive, nasty, violent, security-needing father, and you can just behave yourselves and treat me as you want me to treat you, then we may even be like best of friends. If I don't know if that's possible, but we can always try. And therefore, if we get on, the children won't feel this, will they? If you give them their rights, if you allow them to have what they should have, if you let them be safeguarded as you claim, not from us, but just in general, since they're with you at the moment, then we won't have any concern about his medical needs and his injuries and he's
So
got
I
a
will-
mask
I will be
on. We
sending
won't
you-
have that.
you-
That pressure
I
won't
will be sending you a report.
Listen to me.
at
That
4
pressure,
o'clock
look,
with the health
that
information.
pressure, that's a separate issue. That pressure, as in Turkish and Jewish culture, won't be upon me that I have to safeguard my children in the wrongful keeping of a state. I won't need that because a mistake has happened in the beginning, and that is what it was. That was a big error what you guys did. But right, we're following the legal course of that. Okay. But in the meantime, we've got the on the hands ground situation with the children. So if you can recognize that you're claiming to safeguard these children, you're claiming to promote their well-being better afforded than where they were, you need to give them a lifestyle better than what it was with us. Culture, emotion, thought, welfare, food, nutrition, medicine, etc. You need to be able to do that. Now, John can't do that. John
Mr.
I mean,
Shemi, you've
John was watching television all the time.
You spoke a lot about what you would
So
like to see
I'm
the
just
local
saying, all
authority
these
changes.
pressures are on my shoulders, as in Turkish
Yeah.
culture, Jewish culture, both. As the father, it's my responsibility. It doesn't even fall this level of actioning the responsibility on the wife. It falls on the husband. And
So
if
what
I
do you
can't,
think you could change?
right.
You've given
well,
a lot
if
about
you
what the
if you
local
can
you
stop
want to
doing
see
all
from,
that stuff,
if you want to see,
then we won't have to discuss it, will we?
Mr. Shemi,
With the children.
you've spoke a lot about what changes you want to see from the local authority. What changes can you?
Well, he didn't. He
Look,
just
let me
tell
finish.
you
Let
that
me-
he
let
will
me-
have
let
to
me
have these
say it again.
discussions with the children.
Let me
if
say it
you do
again
what he
in a
said.
simple way. So if you could do that and stop abusing the children and us and neglecting them, well, we feel, or I feel, I need to address it with the children where, look at what Altai is telling you. He's saying they've just dumped Australia in the corner. Now, if a 14-year-old is saying that about a nearly 17-year-old, why is he saying that? Well, why have you put him in that position? So what am I supposed to do when Altai says that to me? I'm supposed to do this, right? Oh, Altai, come. Look, this is a nice game of whatever game it is. Come, sit down next to me quietly. Don't make too much noise. Let's not disturb anyone. Forget about going to be suffering in the corner. Don't worry about your emotions and don't worry about all of your life before what it was. We're here now and we have to do this. Let's play this game so everybody can think we're nice little boys so we don't disturb anyone. That's what you expect me to do, right?
It's your decision if you want to
I
do
am
it with
asking
children.
you if you are expecting me to do that.
We are expecting.
I may well do it if
Mr.
you answer me
Shemi, that's-
properly.
We are expecting
I'm
from
saying
the
I will,
time
but may well do.
to improve the quality. We're expecting you to.
What she's saying to you is they can abuse the children as much as they want, and you have to shut up.
Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, I'm not willing
Is that what
to
you
offer
understand?
you family time
Is that what you're saying?
if you're not willing to change
But can you answer yes or
and
no?
improve.
Is that
family
what you
time.
mean?
To tell her no if it's no. If it's yes, it's yes.
Mr.
Are you
Shemi,
telling him that you have a right to
You're
abuse
enjoying
the
this, aren't
children and he must shut up?
Mr. Shemi,
It's
I'm
just a
asking
question.
you to improve the quality of your family time with your
But
children.
you're not letting me, are you?
And park your views of the court and your personal opinions of myself to one side
It's
for
not about
90
yourself.
minutes
It's not about
once
yourself.
a week.
It's about the local authority failing the children.
That's all that
And the parents
that
who
I'm
have PR.
expecting of you for 90 minutes once a week. And then there's additional
That's what she's
opportunities
saying.
for you to discuss.
Doesn't matter what
your
happens in your
concerns.
You
house.
think, as the main individual in all of the family, they're most, my family tell me, their most loved individual, you obviously don't think so. You think that 45 minutes a week is going to do them good to their emotions and psychological well-being, are you?
It's 90 minutes.
Sorry, 90 minutes a week. You believe that is in the interests of all my children, do you?
This has nothing to do with
No,
your
let her
concerns
answer.
about the children.
No, babe, let her answer. You believe that?
Sorry.
I don't believe that you believe that. That's why you can't answer it. But I could be wrong. So please, come.
So Shemi, I'm sorry, I didn't even hear what you said.
Okay, I'll
I'm
repeat.
focusing on
Are
the
you
children.
saying that
We
you
are
think...
offering- I'm just...
I know
actually,
you're
we've
just...
gone over
I
time.
know you want to run away. That's what you
No, I
always
don't.
do.
We've
So what
offered
do you want to
an
do now?
hour.
Do we have to fight you in court to get my hours back, or
So-
are you going to try and do
So
something?
there's a simple,
I'm giving you opportunity
answer,
as well.
yes or no. Would you like us to refer you to the behaviour change programme?
To the who?
Behaviour change programme.
What's that consist of?
Should we,
does that
it's all right
mean?
to pass them on. So
Well,
this
the
is the
things we have-
information around helping you understand,
I'm listening to you. I'm
giving you
listening.
strategies to put your views to one side.
A behavioural change program for people who have displayed abusive behaviour, but are wanting to make changes. So, you're saying to me that I'm abusive? Further
I
than
can
what we
offer
already
you
read.
another appointment if
No,
you
I'm just
want to
asking.
discuss this again.
I need you to
But family time,
behaviour
you won't be
change.
offered family time in the meantime.
Sorry, let me understand this. Are you saying to me that unless I totally agree to see these people within the Gateshead Council...
We're not saying you have to see them, they'll offer you support around whatever it
But
Well, that's
don't
the same
you
thing, isn't
hear
it?
what he's saying to you?
The offer me
He's
support
saying
is
to
seeing
you,
them, isn't it?
Stop
Using the facilities.
abusing
You
our
don't have
children,
to
then
use
he
them.
does not have to discuss the concerns with
If you
them.
recognise them,
No, that's okay, leave it that
if
way.
you recognise your behaviour is inappropriate yourself and you don't feel like you need the support to recognise that,
Uh-huh.
then you don't need to use that.
See, I've never been abusive in my life, but I have taught a lot of people who were abusive a lot of lessons in this life. From going to road courts of justice and bringing social workers down to the level that they really are.
Would you like a further appointment
Let me
made
explain
in
to you.
January? Because
Don't get aggressive.
unfortunately,
Don't get,
it's
you're very. I
bypassed.
find you quite aggressive, and you're holding it down a lot. I can see
Well,
that.
I apologise
So
if I
this,
made
I think,
aggressive.
no,
But I'm
it's
just
up
trying
to you.
be
I'm just saying that
assertive
it's seen, it's
that this
observed.
appointment was offered for 1 hour.
All right. Well,
and
let's try and
we
resolve
have
it. We can
other
resolve it very
appointments.
quickly. A behavioural change, abusive behaviour. This tells me that. Do they deal with anything else apart from abusive behaviour?
We can get you more information. We can get, I can
Because
get you.
abusive,
one of the workers.
Yeah, when
It's
next
not
appointment, I
possible.
can get one of the workers.
Well,
to
no,
come out and
we don't need to.
explain it.
Just before you go, let's sort this out for the children, more, if
No,
not for
Mr.
anything
Shami,
else.
we've had 60 minutes to sort this out for the children,
Uh-huh.
and we've gone round in circles, so I can offer you a further
Right,
appointment.
so when is the next contact for me?
It isn't until we...
Why not?
I need to stress once more that throughout this 1 hour, he's been saying to
It'll
you
be on YouTube tonight.
that
I'll
if
send you
you
the link.
stop abusing the children, he
leave it
will
on.
not
You'll
have
be on
to
YouTube
have this
tonight.
discussion with
Okay,
them during
sure.
contact. They don't even listen.
I'll
do
get
they?
my children back and I'll get the contact back and I'll do it by the courts. And
What
you'll
about
be on
safety
YouTube
concerns
tonight.
about the
Don't
children?
worry, it's all right. We're just having a conversation.
I'll send you another appointment in January. and we can just-
What
I
about
don't
concerns
know
about the
about that.
children's safety? I have
This
promised
was
me
about
appointment
me.
for
It's
over a
all right.
month.
This was about me, it's
For
okay.
example, Poppy here has said to me, the foster carer's wishes to keep her pram are paramount to yours, and she did. And I found the
Alright.
prams,
We'll offer you
just
as...
go if you want. I found the pram safety straps not to be fitted properly, which
The
means
names
my
of the
daughter's
remote
life
with
was put in danger
Right.
for nearly 3 months.
Do you wanna- we'll
And
offer
I've been
you
trying
another
to say
appointment.
this to you For over a month, I've asked you for appointments for over a
This
month.
appointment was
You
from Mr.
kept, I
Shelley.
know, but you haven't given me one, and I
And
have
I
to
will
say
give you
that.
one.
I'm sorry. That's
I'll
been
give you
3
one by the
months
end
now.
of the day.
My
Leave the
daughter's
children's
life
names
was
out.
put
Make
in
sure before
danger
midnight there
because
is
the
only
foster
children
carer
in the front row.
decided to keep her pram and didn't put the straps properly.
Okay, we can offer
And
you
I
another
wanted to
appointment.
discuss with you,
She
did
got
someone
fallen
check
on the
to the
pram, you know.
foster carer's house and check if the car seat straps are fitted properly and any like high chairs or any other devices that the baby is using? You haven't given me the opportunity for over a month, and I've been trying to talk to you about this for over a
You're
month.
putting the children in danger.
So
is
what are
she's
you
saying.
going to do
I'm
about
going to
that?
offer you an appointment to, by the
In
end
the
of the day.
meantime, the foster carer has the baby with her. I know for a fact she does not know how to safely fit the prams.
We videoed it on the street. In
Fit the
when they
prams
go out.
things. I was
Just
putting
so
the
you know.
baby into pram and literally the straps have come out in my hands. I
And-
don't know if when she puts her into a high chair, the same thing can happen. She can stand up, she can fall, she can hit her head on the table, and you go inform me that my daughter is dead. And I tell you what, when that happens, I will bring Gateshead Council into absolute legal hell. Do you understand me? Don't you dare stop me from discussing these concerns, and don't you dare put my children's life in danger, okay?
And I'll offer you a further appointment.
Well,
by
that's
the
what
end
you
of the
said
day.
to me a month ago.
Okay.
And another thing, I absolutely,
Mister, I'm gonna go,
absolutely
okay?
forbid you from telling me I'm a victim of any types of abuse without discussing it with me. Sorry, I